Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome to the video, and summer's finally ended and King Cold is here. So it actually came out at the start of last month, so the start of October in the USA via Premium Bandai. In Japan, I think it was last week it came out, I think. Been a bit busy, had several different mates over here in Japan, so a lot of meetups. Then I was just kind of lazy, to be honest. So yeah, I do apologize for the delay in my unboxing review for this release. But yeah, he is a big boy. I know there's been a bit of scandals online for people who've imported with paying extra fees. Yeah, unfortunately there's a bit of a downside when buying huge figures, and yeah, it's not the first time it's happened, so do be careful if you are ordering a huge figure from overseas. If you have a local option, it's probably better off to do that to be on the safe side. But anyway, let's not dive into that issue and just jump straight into King Cold himself. On the back, selection of images showcasing the figure, and I think the part that I'm most looking forward to is that throne for the iconic pose there with obviously Mecha Frieza. So we'll have a little bit of a comparison of those two together a little bit later in the video as well. But for now, let's just pop him out of the box so we can actually see what it comes with. So yeah, for the packaging, split into two sections. The front half holding on to King Cold himself along with the throne, and I guess that is the upper or lower part for his cape, in which case, like, except for Gohan actually, all the Dragon Ball figures have very hard plastic capes, which, you know, at least it is consistent throughout the line, which is all good. Then maybe a mix like the recent Gohan could have been quite handy for this big figure to reduce weight, but considering I'm basically just going to have him in the throne anyway, it's probably all good. But anyway, now for the rest of the parts that it comes with, on the back here, we have his tail, folded arms, we get three pairs of hands, so one's for holding onto a sword, it seems like, base loose grip, mild grip, okay, fingers point, oh that's for his leaning on his hand, right? So actually two pairs of hands and then one additional hand for each side it appears. Three face plates in addition to one already on him, teeth gritting, screaming, kind of a cocky smile. A blown up size of Trunks' sword. That one's a bit of an odd choice. I mean, yeah, the scaling's all over the show, sure, but I think it might have been fine if you just got a tiny sword, but I guess when he does hold in the series it's bigger. Anyway, let's just put that down to movie magic or cartoon logic. But anyway, coming back to what he does come with, we also get the additional horns. I mean, I think this is kind of standard with most of the Frieza family, I guess, figures, where depending on the facial expression we have a different helmet due to the kind of eyebrow area being more curved. And then we also get the additional parts for his cloak. So I think this is the normal one, then maybe one for when he's sitting down because it's a bit more rumpled up, but we'll get a little bit of a closer look at that soon. There is also the instructions. So yeah, the first part earlier is the top, then the part goes underneath. And then, yeah, okay, so this part here is for when he is sitting on his throne. So yeah, and it's, we get a bit of variety there, which is all good. So yeah, let me chuck him out of this packaging, put him on the turntable so we can take a closer look at the finish on this figure. Okay, it's on the turntable, spinning around now. Yeah, just basic standing pose, stands it all good, it helps he has a massive tail. But yeah, check out the finish on him as he swings around. And main point to look at, I mean, it's not pretty. It works. I mean, he is very, you know, wide at the back, and the sculpting in the cape is actually really nice. This kind of hard line that goes straight across, not the prettiest, but it does make it a little bit easier to put on. We'll see in the articulation soon, but it is hinged at least. But the thing that stuck out to me when I opened it was, damn, he's shiny. And I'm not just talking about the top part of his head, which is cool, or even the armor is nice, but his body as well. And I feel like compared to, say, the second form Frieza, has a bit more of a matte finish. I mean, it could be the texture and the legs as well, kind of breaking up a little bit. but I feel like even with the base purple for the feet and hands, a little bit more softer on second form Frieza in comparison to King Cold here. I feel like the skin around the top part is all good. I think that one is actually painted opposed to base plastic perhaps. But yeah, what do you think? I mean, if you've already got him yourself, did you think he's a bit too shiny? He kind of reminds me a bit of like, I think it was Zarbon and Dodora, right? Big, nice, but the first, I guess, thought that comes to mind is kind of cheap or plasticky, opposed to some other figures where, say, for example, Mecha Frieza here, for this one it's just all about the detailing. It just looks awesome with the kind of matte finish on parts. I think it just looks a lot more premium opposed to King Cold here. But besides that, all the sculpting is very nice, crisp and clean. I love how we get actual texture in his skull as well. It's not just base, flat, smooth plastic, which is similar to the second form Frieza, who had all the sculpting in the, I guess, is this bone? I don't know, but anyway, the outer part. Maybe it's armor. Anyway, similar to the second form Frieza, we do get all the different sculpting parts, which is great. And yeah, that goes all the way down to the tail and tip as well. So yeah, what do you think about the aesthetic? Let me know in the comments below. I mean, he looks amazing. This, a little bit cheap looking, at least for me. But yeah, and the main thing that just bugs me is this backline, but probably can't really do too much of that. I think a cloth cape wouldn't have really worked with this figure anyway, perhaps. But maybe something similar to that of Gohan, where this shoulder part here was for soft rubber, then underneath here was the cloth cape with wire. That could have been pretty cool. But anyway, enough for King Cold. Let me switch him over to the throne. There we go. So the throne itself is cool. This one actually looks nice, matte finish. I mean, it's just base solid plastic, but it really looks nice with the sculpting in the front there for the cloth. Yeah, not much else to say besides I think it looks pretty damn cool. A really cool accessory. I've said this numerous times in videos, but I always love it when a character comes with something that they're kind of iconically known for, right? Like King Cold here on that throne. It's kind of unique, like the what am I call if he had like his wine, I guess, or a sherry glass would have been really cool. But so for example, another example, this would be Yamcha with Puar. Now that's iconic, right? Those two together. So I'm hoping we get more, I guess, releases like this going forward, where we get the character with an item or something that is really associated with them. But anyway, enough about the finish. Let's jump over and take a look at the articulation. Alright, so starting with the head, swivel is nice from both the actual, there we go, head and on the neck as well. It can look forward really well. It can actually look up extremely well as well. It does open a big gap on the neck, but if we push it forward a little bit, yeah, that basically closes it up. Yeah, still really decent. So nice motion there, feels really fluid as well. His shoulder guards lift up, which is good. I guess that's maybe one way. I guess maybe that's one reason why the design for the back cape is how it is. So we still get articulation, because if you couldn't move these, I mean, if this was one side part, you wouldn't be able to move these up, right? You know, it is what it is. But the cape itself can lift up to about that point there, which isn't bad. But for the rest of the articulation, what I will do, I'll pop this off just to make it a little bit easier, and I'll also show you how this attaches. So this top part, let me try and get this off. There we go. It is attached by 2 pegs. It slots in, really nice and easy. And then it's the same for the main cape, which has 2 pegs there. Maybe I can put up. There we go. So 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top for each part. Nice, chunky, really easy. Unlike Majin Buu, who is a pain in the ass to switch on and off. So at least for this one, nice and easy. And man, I do love the shiny finish for the top part of the arm here. The armor for King Cold looks really good shiny. I think it gives it a bit more of a, you know, royalty look, right? High class. I just wish the body was a bit more matte to kind of complement it a bit more. But anyway, let's jump back into the articulation. So moving over to the shoulder range here, huge joint, but he can lift his arm up really well actually on that joint. Sort of up and around. Coming forward, we have a decent, let me get the arm up as well. There we go. So I'll use this as a learning opportunity. So as we can see, his left arm is all good. His right one though, it will move, but the inner joint there is definitely tight and it's not really moving. Sometimes that happens when, I don't know, the fault tolerances, I guess. But if that does happen, if it does move slightly, you can put 100% silicone oil. A lot of people in the US call it shock oil because that's what they use in RC car shock absorbers. But yeah, anyway, in Japan I picked up something from silicone oil just from a hardware shop. A little drop of this in there and we'll lubricate everything and it should start moving. If it doesn't, or if it's extremely tight, just contact your customer service and get a replacement. Otherwise you can risk snapping joints. This one's huge and chunky, so I think it should be fine. And it was moving, but I would just put a little bit of silicone oil in there, lube it up, and then it should start moving. So let me use the editing magic and cut to that point. Okay, so I've added in the drop, and they're literally just a couple of seconds later, it now swivels around without any issues. Yeah, maybe it could be partly due to when things are made, it's a bit hotter, goes in and gets stuck, or I don't know, maybe it's because it's a bit colder here in Japan now. You know, any number of reasons it can happen, or maybe it was meant to have some lube on there originally and they didn't quite get enough. Whatever reason, if it's slightly stuck, a little tiny amount of silicone oil generally does the job. If it doesn't, then you know you've got a huge issue and contact service and get a replacement. But coming back to articulation, at least, yeah, for a big figure, he can definitely swivel his arms around without too much issue, which is nice to see. We also get the bicep swivel. Elbow joint is okay, a little bit limited, even though it is double. Oh, wait, there we go. Double jointed, so it does go around a bit further actually. And then we get the wrist swivel. You'll notice this one is a little bit squeaky as well. So yeah, I might put a little bit of silicone oil there as well. So I've lubed up his other shoulder, definitely better. The inner part a little bit squeaky. But I think it should be all good for now. Maybe later, if it becomes an issue, I'll put some there too. But as you can see, if you get tight joints, super easy fix. Normally it's a real non-issue. And yes, a little drop will do the job. But coming back to articulation, going forward, there's a few mil there. Going back, a couple of mil as well. Nothing spectacular. We do get the swivel though. Which is all good. So diagonal motion is nice too. So I mean, it's not bad, feels pretty smooth. A bit more articulation could have been nice though. Coming into the legs at least, yeah, decent range of motion there for the splits. Going forward up to about that point. Move the tail away, and going back a bit more limited, a couple of mil, or maybe 10 mil back. Similar to that of Freeze, I believe. We get the upper thigh swivel, knee joints all good concerning the bulky muscles. Then we get the ankle joint, huge peak there. We get some pivot and swivel and motion. Nothing, I mean, the articulation of this figure isn't huge, but it definitely is adequate for this release. Right, moving over to the tail, big sturdy joint for the connection, which is good. It swivels around there. It's got a sculpted in or built-in curve already, and then we get one giant peg just about an inch or two into the tail, and then several inches down we get another peg joint as well. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know. It matches up with the other Frieza figures, so that is good. But overall, I think this is a poor design. It looks cheap, nasty, and it's just a pain in the ass, to be honest. What they really should be doing is taking a book out of the S.H Monster Arts line. Now, obviously, something like this will cost more of that, so this is probably just a cost-cutting, you know, choice. And I understand, figure prices are going up a lot, so they want to cut costs. But if I'm going to buy something, I want to buy it once, and I want to buy a proper release. So I don't mind paying extra for something that is of a higher quality, instead of something that really feels like it's being cut, right? So if you're unfamiliar with the Monster Arts, by the way, this release also came out last month. I do have a review up if you're keen on GVK. But coming back to the tail itself, as you can see, the tail, I mean, it's obviously shorter than Frieza here, but you know, it's the equivalent of, say, second form Frieza. And as you will see now, we have numerous amounts of joints all the way down, which allows for full articulation. Maybe you can't quite twist around as far as what maybe these tails on the Dragon Ball figures provide at the moment, but I would take that for the flexibility and range of motion that you get on the Monster Arts tail, which allows you to put in any which direction you want. And most importantly, you don't get these huge ugly joints. I mean, what is it? It's like he's got a tumor in his tail, right? That's just not a nice way of designing it, in my opinion. Going for something like a Monster Arts tail would be hands down the way to go, in my opinion. But yeah, let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Do you think it's a huge miss on Tamashii for not, you know, going for these tails? And would you pay extra for this? Like, say for example it costs an extra $10 or $20, would you be willing to pay that for this tail, or would you save money and stick with what we've got now? I think that's probably what it really does come down to at the end of the day. Just, you know, keeping the cost down. But at least for me, personally speaking, I would rather pay that little bit extra to get a highly articulated tail, because if I'm buying King Cold, it's not like I'm going to want another one, right? When, you know, maybe 10 years down the line, maybe I'll replace, but probably not, right? So if I'm going to buy one, I'd rather pay the extra now and get something that delivers on all of the characters, features, and, you know, articulation needs. Okay, so he has 4 face plates. The ones that are similar, so the base smile, the kind of cocky smile, pair with the base head and horns, while the teeth gritting one and the shouting one pair with the additional head. That is to, you know, work with the eyebrows being more curved up. But yeah, the detail on them is really good actually. I love the sculpting of the little lines under the eyes. Everything there is crisp and clean, and definitely brings through a lot of emotion. I feel like a lot more attention has been given to the faceplates for this figure, maybe the Frieza figures in general. Maybe a bit more compared to the rest of the figure. It definitely feels like, yeah, the faces are on, you know, the next level, right? Whereas I'd like the body to also match that. But you know, who knows, maybe we'll get a updated version many years down the line. Okay, so I gotta say that tail comes in clutch for keeping him standing, and I don't know, I almost kind of gave up on doing any poses with this figure, because changing those hands, putting them onto the pegs, what a pain in the ass. Really tight. If you've got them, let me know, was yours easy to change or not? But along with, I mean, putting the tail on was really hard as well. Actually, it was pretty tight. I mean, it's nice that it won't easily fall off if you want to take it off. But I did not expect the wrist pegs to be so tight and hard to put on and off. Maybe it's just the hands for holding the sword. I'll find out in a moment at least if that is the case. But so far, not a fun figure to switch parts on. He's definitely a put him on pose and forget about him figure for me so far. Maybe it'll change with a bit more playing, but yeah, so far not that impressed by the playability, or at least an enjoyment factor from this figure. But he does a really badass, you know, big intimidating figure. He holds the sword really well. The extra articulation through the arms does help with that, and yeah, definitely looks really nice and solid. And as I mentioned, the tail really does help with keeping him well balanced, well standing, which is great, because having a stand to hold this figure wouldn't be nice, especially in an earthquake-prone country like Japan. But yeah, you know, I'll switch out the parts again and see what he looks like in another pose. Okay, King Cold wins. I give up. These arms. But yeah, it is such a pain in the ass to get these on. I don't know, there's a little bit tiny nub. It was to get these arms off in the first place, but yeah, you can kind of get that, with that, and it looks like it's fine, but it barely holds on. Okay, that's all good. trying to get into the right position and try to lining everything up and getting it just right. It's just not having it. These shoulder parts just keep coming off when you try to push or get into the right spot, even if you push on the back. I guess the tight stiffness in there is, I mean, it's better than what it was before, obviously. But that doesn't help, and just you have to get into the exact right angle, and you know what, it's just not worth it. Who needs any arms? He's gonna get sliced anyway by Trunks. But anyway, let me just check him in one final pose on the throne, and then I never have to touch this figure again for posing. Okay, I give up. What a mission. Even again, this place, it doesn't even look that good. I'm not sure, I need to play around a lot more. It just doesn't quite look right. I think he's looking down too much. I'm sure he should be able to get it up higher with his arm in and hand up, but then I don't know. Need to spend a lot of time fiddling around playing for that. And also getting these arms back on. This one not so bad. This one hasn't gone on, it keeps popping off. I mean, there you go. Trunks is coming with a sword and already chopped it off. I don't know, I really hate those arms that pop on and off. It is very rare that I think they're done well, and in this case, maybe it's just my figure, it could be, maybe others are all good. At least for my one, it is just absolutely trash. I don't know, most disappointing figure I've had in a long time since Reno. I was really looking for this figure. It's just not fun at all. But yeah, that's some of the pros and cons. Pros, Throne, love it. Detailing on faces, love it. You know, all the sculpting, the colouring, the armour, really nice. Yeah, it's cool we get the sword, even if it's like 2 or 3 times the size of one that Trunks actually comes with. Yeah, he can hold it really well. The articulation works nicely. The way that we can pop the cape off from the base one to the one that, you know, looks like it's folded into the chair, that's nice, it works well. You know, a lot of people probably want cloth ones. Either or is okay. Yeah, the expressions he gets all good. I think this one is very similar to the base one. I'm not sure if we really need both, to be honest. Maybe something else could have been good, but you know, I think at least we get something that covers all of the scenarios, right? He looks well with Mecha Freezer, but that's probably the pros in, right? The cons, the price here is expensive. I mean, it's fair, he comes with a throne, he is big. So, you know, that one I can understand, all good. But, I don't know, the joints, at least on my bit tight. Yeah, the shoulder ones, that happens, I can overlook it. Put a bit of silicone gel on, all good. But changing those hands, what a mission, super tight. Changing the arm, popping them off was hard. Getting them on, at least for this one, next to impossible. You have to really push it first, it might break something. I just do not like the design. And even once you get the arms off, lining it up to put those folded arms on, at least for me, it wasn't working out well. I don't know, maybe I just don't have the patience today to really sit down and spend 15-20 minutes to try and get it right. I don't know, I just want to have fun, have a figure, pose it, get into it, jump in and enjoy. I think that's where something like Goku here is absolutely fantastic. I love this recent release. It was simple, but everything just kind of worked, looked good. You can change the parts on it really well. Yeah, that's what I want from a figure, right? I don't mind if it's a little bit harder at times, you know, due to maybe the character design, you spend a little time, all good. But when you get like things like this, it's just infuriating. Also, a con, the tail design. That's been my con for every release so far. Those joints are ugly. Why? We have ones which, you know, we have fantastic designs from the monster arts that we could take over to these figures. You know, if it's your stock standard budget retail release, sure, understandable, cut costs. But for ones like this, where only probably hardcore collectors are going to be buying anyway, you know, just add on the extra cost, give us proper articulation. I don't know. That's just me. I don't know. Maybe I'm a bit too annoyed from this video, being a bit frustrated. But I don't know. I was really looking forward to it. Just disappointed. That's it. They could have done better. But yeah, let me know in the comments below, what do you think about King Cold? Was yours really good actually? I really want to know that. Have you had the same issues, or was yours nice and easy? Maybe, yeah, I just got unlucky. It happens, right? If you've read this figure, let me know what you like about it as well. If you don't like it, what don't you like? Keen to hear, what would have you done differently? Yeah, I think for me, definitely, obviously the tail, I would have gone a bit more of a matte finish on the body, give a bit more weathering, a bit more of a premium look, to pair well with Mecha Frieza, who I feel has that done to his body, right? So a few things like that to really kind of bring it in line, because I think those faces are top notch, and that's the peak of this figure, and everything else just kind of falls a bit flat in comparison. But anyway, that is it for the review. There should be more coming. Oh yeah, quite a few in November actually, I believe, as well as Time Machine Nations 2024 mid-month, so keep an eye out for photos, clips and details from that. If there's anything in particular you really want to see, yeah, just ping me on Insta or something, you know, let me know. I'm always happy to go take extra photos or get details for you all. So anyway, that's it. Let's wrap up this video. I'm going to go get some food and de-stress after trying to pose this figure, I guess. So anyway, until next time, catch you later.